Well, hello, I'm Jeffrey Darty, the Christian Whistleblower, and this is the Nag Hammadi Scriptures. We're studying the Nag Hammadi texts, part of the Dead Sea Scrolls, because they contain some of the best insights, perhaps even superior to the New Testament in some cases. The insights into the original Yeshua movement. And I'm Jeffrey Darty, your Christian Whistleblower, endeavoring to bring you as much information as I can to help you unindoctrinate yourself. And along those ends, I'm happy to announce to you a sale on our books. This is our bookstore here. You can go to jeffreydarty.com, christianwhistleblower.com, and we can show you how to unindoctrinate yourself through the use of all of these books. Now, these are all normally much more expensive than this, but I've reduced the price of every single ebook down to just $250, $25 for Christmas. The new book, UFO Christmas Story, Confessions of an Exorcist, featured on Coast to Coast AM, Prophet Daniel, Mandela Effect, and Antichrist, featured on Coast to Coast AM, Curious Christmas Conundrums, featured on Coast to Coast AM, Final Message of the Last Apostle, featured on Coast to Coast AM, Apostle Paul, Antichrist, and of course Diamond New Testament, and you guessed it, featured on Coast to Coast AM. Plus Rocket Man, which is the crazy life and times of L. Ron Hubbard, the spiritual wisdom of Napoleon Hill as gleaned from Think and Grow Rich, and a real hidden gem. I think this will be the subject of my next appearance on Coast to Coast. Serpents and Doves in the Garden of the Gods. This is a real hidden gem. It's about the creation. Let's see how I talked about this. The stunning story of pre-Adamite creation of a perfect earth, and the story of how the Lord destroyed it in a fit of anger to bring about the without form and void earth of Genesis 1-2, compiled by author and historical researcher and myself. So interesting stuff, 64-page book. That one too, just $250. So all of our ebooks are on sale through Christmas for just $2.50, and that's a great deal. You can't beat that with a baseball bat. So here we are into the Nag Hammadi Scriptures again. We went on our first study the other day, and this is, of course, a line-by-line study, and it could take us a while because you see how thick that book is, right? I mean, the Nag Hammadi Scriptures are 844 pages long, so we've got a ways to go, but this is interesting stuff. This is powerful stuff. And we read the first part of the prayer of the Apostle Paul yesterday. And we confirmed that the Apostle Paul was affirming himself by this prayer as an acolyte and advocate of the adversary of Yeshua, of Yeshua's main adversary. Paul was a disciple of Yeshua's main adversary. And that's who this prayer is to, Yeshua's main adversary. We showed you that from the New Testament. And as I continue forward, Paul says, I call upon you, who exist and pre-existed, the name exalted above every name. And if you know anything about the Lord, if you know anything about Marduk, Yahweh, Jehovah, Yaldabaoth, as he's referred to here in the Nag Hammadi Scriptures, he is a god, a fallen Elohim, and he thinks he is the supreme God. I don't know, obviously he knew at one time he wasn't, but has he lost his mind? I think he's convinced himself of the fact that he is the Almighty God. He's convinced Paul of it, obviously. And for 2,000 years, most of us have been worshiping him as the Almighty God when he is, in fact, nothing of the sort. So Paul continues the worship as we have, and that's what we're unindoctrinating ourselves from. You exist and pre-existed. You're the name above all names. That's the Lord. That's Yaldabaoth. And we've already identified that Paul is praying to him. And then Paul says, through Jesus Christ Lord. See, I've been teaching you for some time now that the Jesus Christ persona, and I just said this to Joshua the other day. I realized it for the first time. I didn't realize it for the first time, but I was able to put it into words for the first time, that Jesus, plastic Jesus, the person that wasn't a person, there's no proof for him whatsoever. He is a socio-political construct. He was made up to be the dancing bear for the new religion, which was created for social order and, of course, created for political order within the Roman world. So, King of the Eternal Realms, there we go again. Yahweh, Yaldabaoth, Marduk, Jehovah, Lord, wants us to believe that he is the King of the Eternal Realms. Give me your gifts with no regret. Through the Son of Humanity, the Spirit, the Advocate of Truth. I believe that's Paul speaking of himself. I'm the Son of Humanity, Paul says. I'm the Spirit. I am the Advocate of Truth. You give me my authority. Who gave Paul his authority? It goes right back to what we looked at yesterday in the book of Luke and in the book of Acts. It was that being that knocked Paul from his beast, shone about him, and that being that we show that Yeshua identified as his great adversary. Give me authority, give me healing for my body, since I ask you as an evangelist. And it's funny because who gave him that healing, that thing that he needs healing from? Paul himself said, and I guess I should show you this because some of you may not be totally up on it. It was Paul himself that said in Acts chapter 9 or 10, let's go to Bible Hub, and let's go to Acts chapter 9. You know, Paul said, I was given a thorn in the flesh. No, that wasn't in Acts chapter 9. Thorn in the flesh. He was given a thorn in the flesh, and he was given it by the Lord, his thorn in the flesh. 2 Corinthians 12:7. And let's go to King James. And I was given a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan. Oh, are you seeing that? It was the messenger of Satan. The messenger of Satan. He was given a thorn in the flesh from Satan. And if you remember, in Luke, I believe it's Luke chapter 10, it was, I saw Satan fall from heaven. Satan fall from heaven. It is Luke chapter 10. See, some of this stuff you just don't forget. King James Version. After this, where is it? Verse 8. Where is that? Where did he see I saw Satan fall from heaven? Somebody shout it out when you see it. I saw, say here, he's down here. I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Paul said it was a messenger of Satan. And again, if we go back, you know, we're in here to verse number 18. And it's the same word all the way across. So it's not really Satan like we think about it with the pitchfork. It is, of course, as we've already looked at it, but we'll look at it again, the Satan, which is the adversary. And when Yeshua uses it, it has, if you look back here, it has ton Satan, or the definite article. He's talking about the adversary, my main adversary. So Paul told us himself that he received this thorn in the flesh from this person that he met on the road to Damascus in Acts chapter 9. And it makes sense now that he's asking the very person that gave it to him to take it from him. Even Paul recognized him as the adversary, and that just shows me the depths of Paul's depravity. He believed, he knew that he was teaching, preaching, and advocating the adversary of Yeshua, and that's why he's included in the Nag Hammadi scriptures. The prayer of the Apostle Paul is included in the Nag Hammadi scriptures to remove any doubt that Paul is a rat bastard, because he's shown here praying to the Archon, praying to the Demiurge, praying to Yaldabaoth, the great enemy of humanity and king of the Archons. We have one little section left to finish on tomorrow. Redeem me, he says. Enlighten my soul and my spirit. Disclose to my mind, O firstborn of fullness of grace. That's how he addresses the adversary, and one that 1 Corinthians shows that he knows is the adversary. So when you follow Paul, you don't just follow a guy that, maybe was upset, maybe didn't understand. You follow a guy that willfully, knowingly advocated following the enemy of Yeshua. And that's something that if you are all right doing it, wow, I don't understand how you can be. But just in closing, let me give you a quick look at the updated jeffreydarty.com site. I've got it set up to be much more user-friendly now. You can go to our core teachings, Apostle Paul Antichrist, Diamond New Testament, Book of Revelation, Original Teachings of Yeshua, Nag Hammadi Scriptures. You can find our radio shows over here, 11th Hour Messenger, Christian Whistleblower coming back this week. And then, of course, right here again, here's the books, and now order now, $250 Christmas sale. And here's the Christmas books again. And not only the Christmas books, but all the books on sale for you there at jeffreydarty.com. Just $250 for all of those great books. And of course, that was just the Unindoctrinate Yourself. That's my screensaver there at Jeffrey Darty on my own computer. So it's been great to spend some more time with you today. And I hope that you will take advantage of these teachings. And I hope that above all else, you will choose to unindoctrinate yourself.